P.T Barnum once said, "No one ever lost a dollar underestimating the taste of the American public." His career in show business proved the truth of his statement. Phineas Taylor Barnum created a whole new branch of the entertainment business in the 1860s with the Big Top Circus, which took the small-town circus into mainstream entertainment. Under the Big Top, he employed his great wonders of the world in what he called the greatest show on earth. When he did this, Phineas Taylor Barnum broke barriers in the entertainment industry by starting the P.T. Barnum Circus, which did more to popularize circus entertainment and mainstream entertainment culture than any other show or event in the mid-19th century. P.T. Barnum was born on July 5, 1810. At the early age of 12, his businessman personality was already starting to show. He sold cherry rum and snacks to classmates to make extra money. He did this until he took upon his father's business, eventually becoming the owner himself. This was not, however, Barnum's true passion in life, but while he worked at the store, he met his first wife, Nancy Fish. By the age of 25, Barnum had left his comfortable life as a shop worker to proclaim himself the Prince of Humbugs, or the voice of the people who were different from most others on this earth. Early on his path to success, he became a newspaper publisher. After leaving the newspaper business, he became the owner of a boarding house. By 1841, he started what would become his lifelong career. He bought out an old museum and made it his own, by replacing old animal exhibits from poachers of wildlife with statues of famous oddities. Each exhibit became something he was intensely proud of, and he charged the public a fee to come and see his famous oddities. Eventually, the museum he created went from its humble beginnings to a facility housing over 85,000 exhibits that he was proud to call his own. Barnum's museum grew in popularity with the public, but he faced a major setback when it famously burned. This, however, did not deter Barnum. This museum was something that he loved and a particular point of pride for him, even though it was not fully completed until after his death. Although he always had his museum that he loved to work on, he was actually most proud of his circus. P.T. Barnum is credited for creating the American circus, bringing the carnivals of small towns to life in the big city. His circus started out stationary establishment where people from everywhere came to see P.T. Barnum's famous show. Acts like Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy and General Tom Thumb were showcased in his circus. Because of his passion for and love of the circus, P.T. Barnum pioneered the advertising technique known as the exaggerated publicity for the circus that he had built. With his passion for advertising his beloved circus, the famous show became extremely popular worldwide. It became so popular that P.T. Barnum traveled with his show from city to city, and he and his traveling circus were even invited to Europe to meet the Queen of England. Barnum was ecstatic about how popular his circus acts and other exhibits were getting, and soon he began looking for new additions to add to his show. One of his later additions was the bearded lady who astonished most crowds. Eventually, as he got older, he grew tired of the circus and the museum, and he started working with Jenny Lind, a famous opera singer. One of his reasons his show became such a success was that the American people had never seen his oddities of the world before, and he seemed to have a knack for knowing which kinds of exhibits would generate intense curiosity and motivate people to buy tickets to his show. With this business savvy, he made his circus one of the most profitable industries in the entertainment business. This industry would bring profit to a whole series of similar businesses for decades to come. Barnum insisted his whole life that a lot of money could be made from advertising his circus to the general public instead of catering to the rich. Barnum once said, "Money is good for nothing unless you know the value of it from experience." He knew that the people who knew the value of the money would still pay it to see his show because his advertising aroused their curiosity. He stuck to appealing to the market until his death, and the common people of America never let him down. Aside from the circus and his museum, he also had some other minor accomplishments throughout his career. Barnum popularized the opera in the United States with the help from Jenny Lind, who was an opera singer from Europe. He later published an account of his accomplishments in the life of P.T. Barnum, where he told his story. In his book, he stated, Whatever you do, do it with all your might. Work at it, if necessary, early and late, in season and out of season, not leaving a stone unturned, and never deferring for a single hour that what can be done just as well as now. The old proverb is full of truth and meaning. Whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well. Many a man acquires a fortune by doing his business throughly, while his neighbor remains poor for life because he only half does it. Ambition, energy, industry, perseverance are all indispensable requisites for success in business. Fortune always favors the brave and never helps a man who does not help himself. By the time P.T. Barnum was 80, he had established Barnum's American Museum. Unfortunately, it was not completed until he passed away. He died in his sleep of an old age, and after his death, a statue was erected to him in his hometown in Connecticut. His circus was later bought and merged with one of his business competitors, which turned his circus into Bailey's Circus. He was a trailblazer that broke new barriers in the entertainment industry with his Big Top Circus and created a whole new industry that would thrill the American public for decades to come.